Welcome everyone to Reality with Ree. That's me. Today I'm covering 90 Day Fiance Season 9, Episode 9. Before we get into it, I just wanted to let you know that I am going to be traveling for these next coming weeks, and I am not sure if I'll be able to watch the episodes and to do the recaps. So I will, if I can, if it's possible for me to watch the episodes and to film the recaps. But if not, then I do plan to try to get caught up on my recaps as soon as I get back. But I will be out for the next coming weeks. And if I go kind of silent, it doesn't mean I'm stopping altogether. I'm just traveling, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to watch the show and to do the recaps. All right, you guys ready? But stick with me though, please. All right, let's get into this. So first up, we have Ari and Beno. We did not see them featured on this episode. Maybe we might see them on next week's episode. Next up, we have Emily and Kobe. This morning, Emily and Kobe seemed to have waken up on the right side of the bed after their arguing at the end of the last episode. Today, they're going to ride horses, and it will be Kobe's very first time riding a horse. Emily decides, well, after their horse experience, that went cool, no drama there. Next clip, we see Emily decides to ask her parents if they can help pay for the wedding. Her parents are concerned that they are rushing into marriage, but they reluctantly agree to help out with the cost of the wedding. Emily's father decides to have a one-on-one talk with Kobe. Her father asks Kobe what are his plans to make money, honey? Kobe mentions that he has some kind of experience in engineering, and he was hoping that, his future father-in-law would allow him into the family business, which I guess has something to do with engineering. And Kobe is also hoping that his future father-in-law will train him to help take over the family business one day. Emily's father was like, in an interview, he was like, heck to the no. But anyways, so Emily's father does ask Kobe about, any schooling that he has. And Kobe went to high school, and I guess he graduated, but he didn't have any college or anything else as far as courses in engineering. So his future father-in-law informs him that he would need to do about 10 years worth of schooling and training to be on track to do what he's doing in engineering. To do what he himself is doing in engineering. Next topic in that conversation, Kobe mentions that he brought over $4,000. Emily's father says, and honestly so, correctly so, that $4,000 isn't going to go very far here in the United States. That may cover, 1 or 2 months worth of living expenses, and that's about it. Kobe explained that where he's from in Cameroon, $4,000 can set your family up in an apartment and pay for rent and food for a year. What? Wow, that's pretty amazing that you can get all of that for 4,000 American dollars. But over here, I agree with her father. $4,000 isn't going to get you very far. For most families, they probably need at least $4,000 to $5,000 a month just to pay their rent or mortgage, their light bills and food and gas and all that stuff. You might at the very minimum need about $4,000. So yeah, but bless his heart, he thought he was doing a good thing. But reality check. Next up, we have Cara and Guillermo. They were at the park discussing wedding plans. Guillermo wants a big wedding and Cara wants a cheaper courthouse wedding. Then, at some point down the road, they can have the big, beautiful dream wedding after they have saved up enough money for it. For once, I actually agree with Cara. They could do a quick, cheap wedding now and then have a bigger one later. And many people have done that. Maybe some of you have done that yourself. So, Cara decides to go show him a dream wedding venue. And of course, it's way more than I think Guillermo was saying $2,000. Like he felt like $2,000 should get him a dream wedding here in the United States. Yeah, no, this dream venue was, I think, at the cheapest $10,000. So, I don't know about that. So now this adventure to the venue does have Guillermo, at least it looks like to me, kind of thinking about some things. But he did also bring up that Cara is basically too controlling. I agree that she's controlling, but as far as this wedding planning stuff, I think she's on point. Do what your money can allow you to do for right now. Save up and go big. I mean, if you can go big on the first wedding, sure, go for it. But I did hear that the more money a couple spends on their wedding, the higher their chance is of divorce. So, we may want to keep that in mind when it comes to planning our wedding budget, okay? Our wedding ceremony budgets. I think I heard, I can't remember from where right now. Maybe some of you have heard that, but going super big on that first wedding increases the odds of divorce, at least according to whatever source I heard it from. Sorry, I didn't think I did write that one in my notes, or I could have looked it up. So sorry, but anyways, next up we have Balal and Shai. Balal decides to take his kids and Shai to the park where they could ride scooters. Shai has never done it before and she crashes and burns. Bless her heart. Then afterwards, they decided to have a little talk. I think this was a conversation where Balal was hoping to bring up the subject of a prenup. But the conversation ended up being about how Shai feels like Balal is always going, in on her and that he lectures her a lot, and that she's struggling to keep up with his very particular ways in the house. And I totally agree with her on this one. I just think he's a little over the top, a little too much in probably everything. I mean, let's think about it. What woman or man wants to be with someone who is constantly lecturing, preaching, or trying to teach them? It's like, aren't we adults? I know that I personally would not want to be with a man who always thinks that he's right and where he feels like he has the constant need to preach or teach to me. I don't want to. If I wanted to date a preacher, I'll date a preacher. If I wanted to date a teacher, I will date a teacher. But even when you're dating a preacher or a teacher or whatever, like, people need to know when to turn that stuff off. I don't think people want to be with someone who's preachy, teachy, lectury all the time on them. I don't think that makes for a healthy relationship or a good one. Just saying. Needless to say, the conversation didn't end well, and Shai needed some time by herself. So Balal rode away on the little scooter. Next up, we have Jabari and Mona. After the brawl, they decide to go ahead and to do what they came to do. But that was after Jabari said that David could not bring up Mona anymore. I think he meant in that session. Mona goes dress shopping with Brandy, who is Jabari's older no, Jabri's cousin and the lady bandmate in their group. Brandy pretty much fills Miona in on what happened at the studio. Miona seemed happy that Jabri was standing up for her. While Miona is hanging out with Brandy, Jabri goes out to dinner with David. They need to iron things out after their major fight in the studio. During their dinner, David expresses his concerns, but only after making sure that he told Jabri that he is on Jabri's side. He wants to see Jabri happy, and he wants to see Jabri and Miona succeed. And I thought that was nice for him to put that out there at the very beginning of the conversation. Jabri wonders how well Miona fits into his creative world. Jabri wants to spend lots of time working on his creative craft, but it seems like she doesn't fully understand, what that means and what that looks like. Jabri asks David if he was him, would he get married now? And David says no. Yeah. Next up, we have Mohammed and Yvette. They decide to have a one-on-one talk. Mohammed thought that Eve understood how he lived his life because she had visited him, I think it was 3 or 4 times in his country. Eve says that that they had never had a conversation where she was given clear expectations as to what she would need to do or what she would need to change to make him happy. Mohammed disagreed. It appears to me that these two have terrible communication. Non-communication is not communication, and assuming things is not communication either. These two are something else for real. They really need to get their communication stuff down pat. Last but not least, we have Patrick and Thais. They're going out to dinner. Patrick shares some concerns that he wants to bring up with her at this dinner. He gives her a gift box. She takes out the top 2 gifts, and underneath them, there was a brand new cell phone. And this girl totally lit up, like ching, okay? But there was a kicker. She can only have the new cell phone if she stopped tracking his every move on his cell phone. What? Thais tells him that she wants to always look at his location. Then she shocks us with the reason as to why she doesn't trust him. Apparently, Patrick was talking to another girl when he and Thais first got together. What? Mind blown. He got drunk one night at a party at his house. This was soon after he began his relationship with Thais. He kissed another girl, but they did not have sex, but he did kiss her. So that was what he was, Thais not being able to track his phone was going to be that condition for her to get that new phone. He's like, it's time to move on from that situation. He wants her to trust him. And I would say to ladies and gentlemen, if you don't trust whoever you're with, and if this is before marriage, you either need to end the relationship or you give that person a chance to build up the trust, to build back the trust. And if you're still struggling, I think this is probably now almost 2 years ago when he kissed the girl, the other girl, like Little Mermaid, kiss the girl. But anyways, if some time has passed and you're still struggling to trust the person, it might be time to think about ending the relationship if you can't get past it. Because it's like, are you going to forgive the person and move on or not? Like, what's it going to be? But I don't think it's a good idea to go into a marriage with someone you don't even trust before the marriage. Like, who does that? Like, I don't know if that's the right thing to do, honestly. But anyways, okay, so the next day or so, Patrick's brother decided to let them know at the very last minute that he was throwing a housewarming party that same day. Yikes! So at first it was, the party started, and at first it was two guys that work with Patrick. And then a group of women show up. And then I think maybe a couple of other dudes. So, the party started getting lit, started getting live. Thais starts, getting really jealous about all these other girls. So she asks Patrick to go, privately and talk. And they go have this talk away from everyone else, and they start, ironing things out. But Thais was jealous of these other girls, and Patrick reassured her that he only had eyes for her. None of those other girls, compared to her beauty. And so with him saying that, it helped reassure her that she had nothing to worry about. And then they were able to go and rejoin the party and have fun. So there it is. That's the end of the recap. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe. Please like the video. Please comment down below. Please share this video. And remember, I am going to be traveling for these next weeks. And I will do my best to see if I can continue to do this while I'm away. And if I cannot, I apologize in advance. But I will get working on it real quick as soon as I get back. So take care, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Reality with Ree.